Monsieur le Président, merci de nous faire l'honneur de venir à Riyad. Vous avez décollé dans la nuit, vous venez d'arriver. Nous sommes vraiment très heureux de vous accueillir.
Merci beaucoup, Richard. Permets-moi d'abord de saluer Sa Majesté, le serviteur de Sainte Mosquée, le roi Salman Ben Abdelaziz Al Saoud, et remercier également le prince héritier, Premier ministre du Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite, son Altesse royale Mohamed Ben Salman Ben Abdelaziz Al Saoud, pour cette invitation. Oui, je viens de Dakar, de l'Afrique.
This invitation, yes, I'm from Dakar, from Africa. I have arrived this morning to participate in this great, important event that is something important for us, especially when it comes to investment, as well as the human relationships, and our hope to our development and progress. Your Excellency, you are not only the president of Senegal, but you are also the president of the African Union. And I believe that you are the first leader who frankly and transparently mentioned and announced that we are in a new global order and we're going to enter into a new global order. So our topic today is, you are a leader.
C'est un monde multipolaire. On peut l'accepter, on peut ne pas l'accepter. Mais c'est la réalité.
Today's word is a multipolar word, and we need to accept it. So, in fact, the databases or the principles that are governing this word include
Methodology, which I hope you will adopt, which I hope you will share.
How can we educate and empower the next generation to promote ESG initiatives?
I think one of the biggest opportunities in the next several years
Oui, je crois que c'est venu. Merci beaucoup. Voilà. Merci. Richard, je disais que nous...
Thank you, Mr. Richard. I was saying that we are in a world with multipolars, and this is a reality. In fact, this is a reality of the 20th century, so we need to accept this reality. However, when we observe the global geography as well as the global population, in addition to the global landscape, we realize that we have no way unless we cooperate with each other in order to build a brighter future. So yes, in fact, we are controlled by some principles that happened after the Second World War, and these principles or these rules are complicated, and they are not changing, and they are not enabling us to consider our reality, which in fact is post the Second World War. I'm talking about in the 60s. In fact, we have hundreds of countries, including Asia, including in Latin America, in Africa also. And those countries are concerned with some issues that are not taken into consideration by other nations. Either here I'm talking about at the United Nations level. So, for example, these countries, they are not included among, for example, the United Nations discussions. So these rules and these considerations are not fair with these countries. So as such, now we are looking for new partners and new partnerships in order to create better future, better society, and an inclusive one. What is the role that has to be played by Africa in this new global order? In fact, Africa is an important continent, speaking geographically, and also when it comes to African potentials and human resources, in addition to the natural resources, at the petrol level or at the gas level also. So here I mean that all the raw materials are available in Africa. In fact, Africa is full of also mineral resources. So again, here I would like to highlight that the way how these resources are being utilized is not fair. And there are some systems that have been established, and they are still having the sovereignty, and they're having the power and monopolization over these resources. So we believe that we have to restructure the whole order, because in fact Africa is a continent that is growing rapidly. We have a lot of youth who have different needs, different circumstances, and in fact we are paying a lot of taxes. Some is going and dedicated to African people and can be spent in restructuring the whole system and the whole management. Again, as I mentioned, Africa is a continent that is not being fully utilized. So we need to mitigate the risks. We need to anticipate these risks. Africa, for the moment, in fact, is in the middle of a world where is being endangered by a lot of risks. So for Africa is very important, and we need to take it into consideration. So this is why I am here, and why I have decided to come here in order to call everyone to come and to visit Africa, because it's an amazing place and we can exchange the benefits and we can exchange the lessons learned. Africa is waiting to be involved, to be included. So there are hundreds of investors. So if we want to consider Senegal in particular, can you mention or can you list the fields or the domains where investors can invest? Like, what are the areas through which we can invest, and like you are recommending that we invest in these areas?
Et au Sénégal notamment.
Oui, le Sénégal est dans l'Afrique.
Senegal, in fact, is one island of Africa. It's an integral part of Africa. When I'm speaking about Africa, I'm speaking about Senegal and vice versa. So the areas where we can invest in Senegal, we have tourism, hospitality, housing. As I mentioned, hospitality, infrastructure, highways, highways with tax. So everything that is related to gas, to petrol, to mineral resources, to petrochemicals, not to mention also the fertilizers and everything related to agriculture, because in fact we are not controlling these materials. And now it's time, especially when it comes to the oil sector, that we need to build our capacities in order to produce these resources. So in fact, technology also, and since the pandemic, we are working to have more readiness and to offer more doctors, as well as to improve our healthcare system, especially when it comes to the vaccination. In fact, we have a
capacité pour pouvoir produire le vaccin anti-Covid et toute la gamme de vaccins et selon
such as the yellow fever. So all types of vaccination and all available technologies needed by our nation, Africa, is a good opportunity for investment. Also here I would like to encourage the importance of working with a lot of health entities. In fact, Africa, a lot of people, they don't understand the high potentials and resources of Africa. And here it's an invitation for everyone to get to know this nation better. The stereotype about Africa, in fact, is not correct. For sure, Africa is the nation of solutions, and we can, by working together, develop a lot of actions and open the market. Africa perhaps is known for political crises, revolutions. However, this is not the correct image of Africa. Africa is a promising nation. In this important session, and with the participation of a number we want to highlight.
Oui, on parlait de la sécurité alimentaire.
Ouais.
Quel rôle peut jouer l'Afrique dans cette stratégie mondiale en termes de sécurité alimentaire?
We want to highlight the importance of the agriculture sector and how we can achieve the food security. In fact, at the African Union, we have developed an agricultural strategy 20 years ago
On demandait aux États
during Mobutu Summit,
de leur budget sur l'agriculture.
when the states were asked to contribute by 10% of their budget in a food project. The Ukrainian crisis today has proven
Et nous sommes en train de le
that we need to build, especially at the fertilizer level,
avec les partenaires.
which is needed by the agriculture sector. We need to build with our partners, and I have, during last December, I have faced some of our partners. We need to develop a strategy that can enable us to improve some products or to manufacture some agricultural products, including grains, such as the wheat, which we need to improve, and we need to diversify as well as to intensify. We need also to develop the farming systems. And here I would like to draw your attention that Africa has more than 60% of agricultural lands.
À la fois les réseaux hydrographiques.
We also, in Africa, we have a lot of water resources, including rivers and underground resources, underground water resources. So what we are lacking is the agricultural investments to upgrade the mechanisms, to upgrade the methodology, as well as to provide the necessary fertilizers. So, for example, if in Europe, if European countries can, in Africa, we have 5% hectare of fertilizer.
Même c'est 17.
So in Africa, we need, in fact, 17 kilograms of fertilizers. And this is a small amount. So development and growth at the agricultural level is necessary. And it depends on the help from other people or other nations, especially when I'm talking about fertilizers, water, upgrading the mechanisms of farming.
Système de commercialisation et de stockage. Et nous sommes en train de bâtir cette
And also providing better storage system. So we need to work on a strategy to secure agricultural security. Your Excellency, my last question to you.
C'est Invest in Humanity, ne pas parler des jeunes, de la jeunesse.
The topic of this lecture is the theme of this initiative is investing in humanity. And now we need to consider the African youth because they are the essence, they are the root of our humanity. And you have communicated messages to the African youth or to the Senegali youth. What is the message that you would like to communicate to this youth that you are seeing in front of you? And if you can, please also address the youth who are the main driver for our humanity.
de la jeunesse,
Mr. Richard, when I am addressing the youth,
Nous avons un
I have a lot of passion and love because our youth are our future in Africa, and we have a dynamic youth who wants to succeed, who wants to work hardly.
77%.
At all the African states, we have around 77% of youth who are under the age of 35. So Africa is a youth continent and is a very youth continent. So if we want to create better life for the youth, we need to educate them. We need to raise their awareness. You need to train them to
Voilà, je disais donc qu'il nous faut les former en
to
particulier
train the youth in order to be able to practice or to face different life challenges. And this we need to do the training in new areas such as the digital sector, the human resources. And we need to offer to make all the information available to our youth
vous avez une population très jeune qui est
in order to succeed. So, for example, if we want to provide training in the digital transformation and we don't have information, like that, we're going to discourage our youth and we will lead them to failure. So that's why, as a nation, we consider ourselves responsible
la préparation
for this education that is necessary to our youth and to enable our youth at the regional level, also at the international level.
ces états de service.
We need, in fact, to create a professional generation. In this regard, we need cooperation and partnership in order to develop mechanisms for education and for training in order to to be on a large scale.
Qui lui permettent de vivre décemment. Donc,
And this should be done to every single youth in our continent. So the key word is education and training. So these are the two key words because education is our
si vous éduquez les jeunes, vous leur donnez
is our main enabler to help youth to go to the right path instead of moving to tourism or criminal behavior. And like that, the youth will have a good immunity against any risks and against any threats.
Quel est le vœu qu'il souhaiterait qui se réalise, en supposant qu'il soit un magicien?
My ex-colleague asked his colleague to mention only one wish, and like he's like a fairy tale. So give me your wish. What is your wish? I want to achieve stability and peace in Africa and in the world, especially in Africa, which is facing a lot of crisis, a new form of tourism,
faut qu'il y ait la paix.
a new form of internal conflicts. So we need security and peace globally for a better future.